Okay, so 8th time is the charm. I literally have tried to do this 8 times, and now we're gonna get it done and we're gonna knock it out. All right, so here it is. You ready? Bottom line in it, because I've said this so many times, I don't think I can say it again. The way I've been saying it, it sounded so good. So I'm out here enjoying the day, trying to get some of this blue sky here behind me. And man, people just won't stop calling on the phone or barking the dog or flying a helicopter, and it's so funny. All right, so here's what's going on. I really think that we have entered into a brand new age of compliance, and here's the reason why I say this, and I'm going to say it really quickly before I get the next daggone phone call here. Our president, our new president, is moving very quickly. He has made it abundantly clear that he is going to be the most labor-focused president we've ever had. All right, fair and warning shot, right? Noted. Thank you very much. Now, I don't air my political views openly. This is not about me bashing the president. This is a fact. And this is what you as an HR pro have to start getting ready for, is the changes that he is going to make. But here's the other piece. Not only is he making the changes, but the states are now making more independent changes than they've ever had before. The president's domestic agenda, the president only has 18 months when he comes into office to get his domestic agenda set and up and running. Because after that, then we focus on midterm elections. After midterm elections, then we do the warm-up. After everybody kind of settles into new office, then we start doing a warm-up to the next national election. That's a very fast 4 years, even though for us, it feels really slow. But it is. It's actually a very fast-moving process. So our president is actually moving very, very quickly. He has made massive changes within the first 100 days, even though we have had a new support package that has come out that's cost trillions of dollars, which is great, but we're also going to be preparing for our next major tax hike. Now, aside from all of that, something that has come down from the White House is very interesting, and I've never seen this before ever, and that is a lot of our departmental policies, processes, and procedures are actually undergoing a review. So the Department of Labor, the EEOC, the OFCCP, OSHA, right? OSHA actually has been required, sent an executive order that they had to make specific changes. OSHA has also included information, has been required to put information out there about very specific things that companies need to do in order to protect themselves and protect employees and during this continuing pandemic, which really we're in an endemic situation now. So additional investigators are going to be added. Matter of fact, they're already in the process of getting those guys online and getting them out there and taking a look and see what's going on. He is serious. The president is absolutely serious. Now, what comes with this is that companies are not prepared. Comes massive, massive fines and penalties, to the point where if you're a small business, for instance, and you have a lot of penalties, businesses don't have deep pockets, especially right now. Some businesses have done really well during COVID, but there's some other businesses that have been really just hanging on literally by the hair of their chinny chin chin. And if that's the case, then massive fines could very well put somebody out of business, and we don't want to see that happening. So this really is becoming an era of compliance. Compliance has to be top of mind, and along with your people. So it's finding that very delicate balance, right? If we are not focused in on compliance, here's the thing. Here's the biggest penalty of all. It's not necessarily the money. It's not necessarily the bad PR. It's going to be the lack of trust that you as an HR professional or an HR champion may experience from your staff, from your senior leaders, and from your CEO. Now, I've been in that situation where that trust has been challenged many, many times, and that comes with the job. But if you are more focused in on other initiatives, yes, HR is here to do good in the business. I absolutely agree. But we've got some crises going on. We've got a talent shortage crisis right now. We have, that is going to impact how a CEO looks at his people issues. We have rapidly changing regulations, and that is going to impact how a CEO can move forward. We have states never did this before, not at this volume. Yes, states made their own changes, right? But not like this. So we have more patchwork law in the United States now than ever before. It makes it even more complicated to keep track of the multi-state units that you actually operate in, plus what it is that you have to do. Today I've actually been researching North Carolina and Colorado, and I have to figure out how do I incorporate this stuff into a handbook. And I've got another handbook that I've got to work on. We're talking about changes in Ohio and Georgia, right? States I'm not familiar with necessarily. So I feel it. I'm going there. I'm doing it right along with you guys. Although I'm kind of smaller peanuts than you guys. I'm not in the seat actually, but nonetheless, I still feel it. So if you guys are not starting to focus in on compliance and understanding what it is that you're supposed to do and when to do it, if something goes sideways, your CEO, your leaders, your managers, the people that rely on you are going to challenge it, and they are going to, honestly, they will start losing focus. So listen, if you want to know more about how you can do better at compliance, because it is something that you absolutely have to focus on. Look, I know it's not sexy. It really is not sexy. Compliance is not sexy, but it's necessary because it's the one thing that has not changed since all of COVID has taken place. It really hasn't. Matter of fact, it's gotten tighter. And out of all the things that we have, all the different employment laws, all the different types of case reelings and everything, really the only thing that changed was the implementation of the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which now that emergency paid sick leave and emergency family leave is now voluntary till the end of September. And you know what? That may get extended as well. Who knows? And then the other thing too, really, the only other thing that I really saw that was lenient, it was made to be lenient, was verifying IDs on an I-9. You can now do it online for a short period of time. And I don't think we're going to be going back to that. I don't think it's going to stay. I think we're going to go back to the original. Yes, you have to look at the document in hand. You got to take a look at that, right? So that's it. Everything else has remained the same. Everybody still has to be compliant, right? And I think we've kind of gotten away from that because we were so focused on what was going on with COVID. Now, if you're a business owner, you're going to want to really make sure that you have somebody in seat who understands compliance, okay? You don't want to have to deal with it, but you also want to make sure that you're supporting that person as well. If they say, yes, we need to do this, then the mission that should exist between you and that person is to figure out, okay, here's what I need to do to move the business forward. Here's what you need to do to protect the business. How do we walk this path together? That's the key. That's the trick. Right? How do you walk the path together? And vice versa with an HR person. If your CEO wants to do this, then you have to take a look and say, okay, so here's what we have that's compliant wise. You don't necessarily want to say no, but what you can do is like, here's what we can do. So how do we walk the path together? How do we figure this out? So that we're meeting the objective, but yet we're also staying compliant too. And we're not putting the company, we're not exposing the company to risk, because it's not just the company, it's the apex leader. It's the CEO who's also at risk too. And a number one responsibility of an HR person is to protect the CEO. Number one responsibility of a company is not to make profit. It's to make sure that they bring in enough revenue to keep the doors open and keep paying their people. So that's what I want you guys to start thinking about. Start thinking about how do we get compliance in order. And look, if you need help, if you want, you can attend our mastermind, HR compliance and strategic mastermind that's coming up. We'd love to have you in there. It's awesome. So go ahead and DM me, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.